Well, on to the latest from Iraq now, where there are some concerns that have emerged today about the safety of the 46 Indian nurses who've been trapped in a hospital in Tikrit for some time now. In fact, many of them have voluntarily stayed on there because that's where their livelihood is. And today, though, there have been some concerns because there was a bombing near their hospital that has caused some concern, and the fact that the roads around them are apparently continue to be very, very unsafe. Amitabh Revi joins us from Erbil in Iraq now, live from there. Amitabh, what are you hearing about the nurses and their safety at the moment?
Well, the only fact that we know for sure is that they are currently safe and unharmed. They are in a hospital compound which is slightly outside Tikrit town itself. But as you mentioned there, Tikrit has been the scene of fierce fighting between the Iraqi forces and the Islamic State. Over the last 4 days, the Iraqis have been trying to mount a counter-offensive to reclaim Tikrit, which is ex-President Saddam Hussein's hometown. And what that means is that there is fighting in and around that. So there are two causes of worry. One is if any of that fighting spills over into the hospital compound. We have not heard of that so far. And what we are hearing is that they are safe and unharmed. But that also means that the position remains almost the same as it has over the last week, which is that they cannot be evacuated south about 140 to 160 kilometers to Baghdad by road because the Iraqis are not in control of that. A fierce counter-offensive taking place by the Iraqi forces. They've used ground assault as well as helicopter gunships in that. So that is a cause of worry.
Amitabh, what about other Indians there? We heard from the ministry here that about 600 or so Indians would be evacuated over the next few days from various parts of the country. So what more on those evacuation efforts that the government of India is trying to undertake?
Those evacuation efforts are continuing, and what's interesting is that those evacuation efforts have intensified to areas which are not necessarily in conflict zones. So, for example, in Erbil, we are told, not on record, but we have learned that possibly up to 200 people could be evacuated out of Erbil in the next 2 days or so, or 2 or 3 days. They are not in an area which is seeing any fighting anywhere near the vicinity, but it seems like the Indian government has decided to pull out anyone who wants to go, whether they are in safe or unsafe areas, and that process is continuing. As you said, the figure being mentioned is about 600 at the moment.
All right, Amitabh Revi reporting there from Erbil in Iraq. Thank you very much for that update there.